Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon session. It is indeed a pleasure to have you all on this very important occasion where we are hosting a very eminent expert from the field of commerce and industry on our afternoon webcast. And he shall be talking today about the very important area of how we can actually use our proficiency in commerce and accounting to create viable startups. So that is the very important area that we are going to discuss today. And to deliberate and discuss on this topic, we have none other than a very eminent expert who is not only a luminary in the field of law, but also he is also a CMA. And he is none other than Sri Shankar Panickер. And I heartily and cordially welcome him to this webcast, which is organized by the Innovation Cell of IGNOR Regional Center, Vatakara. I am also heartened that we have the presence of Dr. Pramila O, our Assistant Regional Director, who is the very backbone of our activities at IGNOR Regional Center, Vatakara. And we are also joined in by our coordinators, assistant coordinators, study center functionaries, and above all our learners from different parts of the country who have made it a point to join us in quite large numbers. So it is a wonderful occasion on the eve of Holi to host this program, and I'm sure all of us will be gaining a lot from this session because Sri Shankar Panicker is a very accomplished expert in this particular field, and therefore he does not need any introduction for most people. But for the sake of formality, let me request our Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Pramila O, to in fact introduce our guest of honor to the wider public. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Respected subject expert of today's CMA Advocate Sri Shankar Panickер, Director, Regional Director of IGNOR Regional Center Vatakara, Dr. M. Rajesh, and all other participants. Very good afternoon to one and all. I am very happy to be here with you for the talk organized by Innovation Cell of IGNOR Regional Center Vatakara on the topic how can we use our proficiency in commerce and cost accountancy to create viable startups. The chairman of South India Council of ICAI, CMA Advocate Sri Shankar Panickер is with us for delivering the lecture. Innovation Cell of RC Vatakara already conducted a number of activities, and we are happy to be here with Advocate Shankar Panicker as our subject expert today. About Sri Shankar Panicker, now, Sir is serving as the chairman of South India Council of ICAI and practicing as an advocate in the High Court of Kerala. Sir is also working as insolvency professional registered under IBBI and Insolvency Professional Agency of ICAI. Sir is the first person to have appointed as the IRP and liquidator in Kerala. He is also the chairman, Southern India Regional Council of ICAI for the year 2022-23 and member in 2015-19 and 2019-23 and vice chairman 2019-20 and secretary 2018-19 and treasurer 2017 and 18. He is also a certified professional in commercial arbitration from Institute of Arbitration and Mediation. He is an accredited mediator from Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediation. Who also worked as a fellow member of the ICAI, that is Institute of Cost Accountants of India, member of Institute of Management Accounts, United States of America, and fellow member of Institute of Certified Management Accountants, Sri Lanka, graduate in law from School of Legal Studies, Kochi University, Kochi, empaneled independent director in the data bank of Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs and CA finalist and corporate trainer of banks, NBFCs and educational institutions, faculty in finance, law and management, accounting, topics in professional and management schools, And also, sir, has the career profile says partner Panikkar and Panikkar Advocates Kochi and partner BBS Plus Consulting. Previously, the partner of BBS and Associates Cost Accountants, Principal Owner Panikkar and Co-Cost Accountants Kochi, and HDFC Bank Limited as worked as heading the branch and was responsible for project loan appraisal, financial and wealth advisory, business development, customer service audit and compliance, and worked in the ICIC Bank Limited, started as regional sales manager for liability products and was heading the Tripunitara branch before joining HDFC Bank. And his details are, or his profile is going on. And we are very happy to be here with you, sir, for this evening session. And I welcome, with immense pleasure and gratitude, I welcome you, sir, to this session. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. And over to Dr. M. Rajesh, the Regional Director of RC Vatakara. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for introducing our very eminent guest of honor for this day. And let me also highlight the fact that I was fortunate to be his classmate for the law degree that we did together at the Cochin University of Science and Technology School of Legal Studies. So I know the kind of range and proficiency that Sri Shankar Panicker holds within himself. So without wasting any further time, let me cordially welcome and invite Advocate CMA Sri Shankar Panicker to deliver his address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh sir and Premila ma'am, and all those dignitaries in the electronic dais. It is always a pleasure to stay connected with IGNOW, especially my very good friend. I cannot call him anymore a friend. He's like a brother to me. And most respected Premila ma'am for giving me this opportunity. I always cherish to interact with uh, students, especially, and when it comes to certain, sharing of ideas, I always carry an impression that more than you gain, I gain more, because whenever I get an opportunity, I go and research something. So suddenly I catch up with certain things which I have missed out. So thank you so much for triggering the student in me. Um, for those friends who have decided to chase commerce and cost accounting profession, friends, I'll just try to make my presentation in three sets, three phases. First is you should know what is cost accounting and what is commerce and what is cost accounting, how it is different from financial accounting. Then I will attempt to uh, try uh, the startups and how we can create value as a cost accountant or a person who is into commerce or cost accounting, to create value to the stakeholder. So friends, mm, I was always, when I started off my career, um, after passing cost accounting, all of us will have only a bookish knowledge. Rajesh sir, am I audible? Should I shout a little bit more, or is it audible?
You are perfectly audible, sir. You are perfectly
Perfect.
audible.
All right. So therefore, when my friends, students, friends who are there, who are attending this, will always have a cultural shock as to, sir, what is cost accounting? What is this? Anyway, we are entering certain transactions. How it is different from financial and all those things. This is exactly that which I missed out during my college days. I thought I'll share with you, then take it forward. Friends, when it comes to books of accounts, all of us know accounting entries, all debits and credits, transactions, real account, a personal account, nominal accounts, and all those things. Basically, you are recording the transactions, and you arrive at, or you prepare profit and loss account, balance sheet, notes to accounts, cash flow. Then you call it a financial statement, and looking into the financial statement, you appreciate the state of affairs of the company, and once you have a clarity on certain assets and liabilities and other things, you understand, okay, this company is good, bad, or ugly, whatever it is. So this is one way of looking at it. We call it financial accounts, financial accounting. So what is cost accounting? Because the topic given to me by Rajesh sir is very, very clear, very specific. How do we use our proficiency in commerce and cost accounting? Very clear. So there is no ambiguity regarding what should be focused more or anything. Um, um, to create viable startups. So therefore, um, cost accounting, you should know what is commerce, what is cost accounting, financial accounting, as just mentioned. So commerce, I will not venture because already you are a student. Basically, it is a trade and other things. So basically, on further dwelling into the fact that unless you don't have an accounting for your expense or income or assets or liabilities, you will not have a control. Therefore, accounting came into place. And when you decide, when you sort of decided to upgrade yourself or skill yourself or expand yourself, then you understand that you need to have more grip into the subject. And so then came cost accounting. So what is cost accounting? That is a $1 million question. All of us, during our college days, we had a doubt. So friends, it is like this. In any company, you have your resources. What are the resources of the company? Company, or for that matter, anything, any firm or any organization, any venture, they will have resources. What are the resources? Men, material, and capital. So basically, cost accounting talks about controlling your resources in such a way that you are able to have cost of production, cost of goods sold, cost of sales of each goods or each service rendered from the company, rolled up from the unit, rolled up to the company, and from one geographical location to other geographical location. For example, I'm having only one unit which is in Kerala, then matter is very simple. I will prepare the cost records. Cost records, I'm repeating it. Basically, you track the consumption, or you account for the cost. What are the cost? Material, labor, overheads. So you have a control over your resources. By tracking the cost, you are having a control over your resources so that you are able to prepare certain critical MIS. What are the critical MIS? Cost of production, cost of goods sold, cost of sales, and the profit. Therefore, you understand what is the profit. Therefore, if you only have financial accounting, friends, you will not be able to have any idea. For example, if you look at my balance sheet, you understand that. You should hear this, friends. I don't know whether, I'm sure you'll know, but then for the sake of bringing the topic in, see, assuming you have a look at the profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss, you will get to know what is the profit of the company as a whole, but you will not know which product of the company or which service of the company, which unit of the company has given you more profit, or which of the product is profitable, which of the product is running in loss, or what can be done so that that particular product which is not, or service which is not making profit, can be upgraded or can be made into a profitable service. So these sort of things you will probably not get a idea when you have only a profit and loss account, or a statement of profit and loss, for which we need to have a cost accounting. So cost accounting essentially is accounting for the resources spent on each product, goods or services. Therefore, you are, if you have a cost accounting records, you will be able to take management information systems, or that's this periodical reports, which consists of most critical information, so that you can take an informed call. What are the critical information? Cost of production, cost of goods sold, cost of sales, and profit. So that, because sales, you can actually fix the price only based on cost, or you have an idea as to, like, this is going to be my sales price, so how to control or contain or optimize my cost. So um, if you don't have cost records, gone. You will not, you will be, you will not, you will be, the decisions you will be taking will be purely based on emotions, or purely based on thumb rules, which will not take you further down. Because most of the cases I have seen now, since I'm practicing as an insolvency professional, cases which come to me, every cases has got some story because of their lack of control over their cost. So costing is essential, because if you want to take a decision, cost records is extremely important. Gone are the days where you have monopoly on probably your products, but now it is absolute competition. If you want to thrive in the competition, you need to have a competitive edge in cost, quality, and value creation. So that is what I'm trying to drive home here. Cost. If you don't have cost accounting, you are at serious risk, because you're with the advent of technology, there should be a very objective decision making process in place, for which cost accounting is the most important thing. So with that, I hope I have cleared the difference between financial accounting and cost accounting. Financial accounting is company as a whole, cost accounting in goods and services specific. And once you understand the product cost, then it will be linked to unit wise. So assuming there are 2 units or 3 units, each of the production units, each of the goods which is product produced or service rendered in that unit will be rolled up. So product wise, unit wise, company wise. So for example, a big conglomerate like say Toyota, or um, what do you call, maybe Hyundai or Apple, all those company, MacBook, and all those. These people, what they do is they have got multiple locations, so they will see how best, which is the best location to manufacture. And precisely that is the reason, friends, India is being sought after, because in India we have got an average age of 30, 35, 30 years or less than 30 years, quality people, qualified people, excellent consumption, because we have 140 crores of people, of which 100 crores will consume, earn. They will earn well, save well, consume in the sense, if you sell, if you produce anything, there will have a market here. For example, you have good market for fast moving consumer goods, electronic goods, technology, agriculture, amazing place, tourism. So whatever be it, India is a safe destination for any global investor. So these people will always, all those investors or good companies will not take emotional decisions. They will always go for uh, objective decision making, supported by data. So why I'm linking that to you, because now the topic which we are going to discuss, or deliberate here, is about startups. Now we have, India is a very, very robust, or a good place where investors can come, because India, as I mentioned before, absolutely great. Of maybe we are actually utilizing our capabilities, our education, our all those things are being utilized, and new companies are coming up in India, and we call up unicorns, microcons, unicorns. There's something called unicorns also, soon to be unicorns. Decathlon, Hectathon, all those things are coming up. India is a destination where good ideas take shape, and from that good ideas, investment comes and thrive. And consequent to that, India as a country will provide employment because people are there available, and not just development. We are talking about sustainable development. So sustainability depends upon both society and also economic. So society, if you split it, it has to be, cultural sustainability, geographical sustainability, um, natural resources sustainability. All those things have to be clubbed. So therefore, when you talk about a startup, you are not just looking into a business which will give you just some revenue, some expenses you make, and you get profit. Not just that, because it will not be sustainable. We are looking at sustainable development, and for which commerce students, cost accounting students, or cost accountants or finance professionals play a very integral role, a very important role. Because I don't know whether you can appreciate, but let me attempt to explain in a different way. Friends, there is something called typical financial records, which I've mentioned: balance sheets, statement of profit and loss, notes to accounts, schedules, board of directors, reports, and all those things. That essentially talks about only financial things. But there is something called integrated reporting. Integrated reporting meaning you report more than financial things. You're talking about sustainability, you're talking about other decisions, so that the by going through those reports, you will get to know how our country is performing. Some data are there, how it is going to help the economy, not just India, across the world. And it will give a message to the investors as to, you look, this is a country where there are possibilities and opportunities. So with that, I'll just start my small presentation. After that, we will take up question and answer sessions, and I understand that you can always type your questions in your chat box. And with that, I'll just start off. I hope you can see this presentation.
Yes,
So,
it is visible. Visible.
thank you, Rajesh sir. All right. So, how can we use our proficiency in commerce and cost accounting? So, I've explained to you the importance of cost accounting. I've tried to explain the difference between cost accounting and financial accounting. So, cost accounting, unless you don't have in-depth knowledge of your business, you will not be able to grow further. Um, for that, government of India has taken certain initiatives. They have brought in something called cost audit in 19, far ahead, I mean 1960s onwards. And apart from financial audit, there is cost audit also. And for that matter, when government comes to when government takes up initiatives, government would, like for example, import policies and other things, government will look into the cost certification. So therefore, that is the importance of this. And the general nature of students or graduates who pass focus on, or their specializes on the commerce, they generally get opportunities in finance department, accounting department, or compliance. For example, GSTs, income tax, accounting, and all those things. So friends, my view is like this. It is not just that you need to have a qualification. You need to upskill, continuously upgrade yourself by taking up some more courses in technology, information technology, something like data analytics. I very clearly remember when we started off our college, or even before that, there were a lot of there were a lot of anxieties that what will happen to us? Once computer is this, I mean, computer has come, you're going to lose the job. But I'm yet to see a company um, who has chucked out accountants just because computer has come. No, only thing is a computer was just used as a typewriter before. Now it is being used as real computers, and lot of technology changes have come. Now you've been using a digital model where it is seen as data instead of documents. So when you have data, you can do some analytics and you can take quick decisions. So end of the day, commerce graduates, commerce professional or financial professional or cost accounting professionals play a critical role in decision making process. So like management graduates who are into the finance domain, uh, chartered accountants, cost accountants, these people help the management to take decisions. So for which any decisions, end of the day, it dwells or it is filtered down to costing and numbers, financial numbers. So even though I've explained about cost accounting, basic thing for cost accounting is financial accounting. If a company do not have financial accounting, then it is impossible for you to prepare cost records, because end of the day you are understanding the cost elements. For example, you've purchased 10,000 rupees ka raw material and you've spent 10,000 rupees ka labor. You have to you will be recorded as if that will be recorded in the financial books of accounts and also recorded in the cost record, so that you can do that, you can take a decisions. So we'll quickly move on to the topic. Friends, when we talk about startups, these were startups. These were, what was then? It was a samosa, it was a tea, buses, auto rickshaws, and there are waste, you know, uh, bed, and of course those who have been to Mumbai, they would have seen these people. They are called dabbawalas. So basically dabbawalas basically brought food to those people. In the person will leave their home in Mumbai. It's a very fast, very crowded city, fast life. So people start from their home around 7:30. By that time breakfast would not have happened, sorry, lunch would not be prepared. And the spouse or whoever from the house, this food will be picked up by people called dabbawalas. Dabbawalas change hands. These dabbas will be changed hands several stages, goes through several stages, go through different people. Ultimately, at the correct time, it will reach the proposed person, meaning Shankar Panickere left his home 7:30 in the morning, and as per the agreement with the dabbawala, if I'm supposed to get my lunch at 12:30, it will come because of the high level of coordination. And it is a typical example for Six Sigma, where the error is extremely very low, 6 in a million. So therefore, um, this was the earlier scenario. Now what is this? Now you're talking about samosa party. Look at the way it has changed. These are all startups, friends. Chai point, go bus. Now we are talking about not just auto rickshaws, we are talking about Ola Auto. Then there was something new startup called Fool, basically flowers. Okay. Then recycle. What is recycle? All those things which is in the garbage, they convert that into that and convert into products, value added products. And of course the beds have been changed to branded bureau of like Skr loans and all those things. And we know, instead of dabbawadas, now we have Zomatos, Swiggies, you know uh, by the click of your smartphone, you can understand from where you can pick up food from whichever hotel of your choice, and within 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes is going to come. What will be the cost like? Everything is standardized. So this is a typical case of startup, revolution in India. Now look, who is this? On the left hand side, we have got the uh, Google, the promoters, and the right hand side we have got our proud Infosys. You can see Mr. Murthy, Mr. Chris, and Shibu, and all those people. Now, what is their valuation? 1,142 billion. Billion meaning 100 crores. So therefore, look at the way Google started off as just Google. Now they have into Google Map, YouTube, Android, Gmail, Chrome, Google Play. And look at the right side. We are talking about Infosys having a very, very, very strong edge in the technology space. So this was earlier period. Now it is they have got into valuation. So basically, startup is something like a trigger you have. It is brought into a good trigger in the mean good idea, supported by good people, coming out with good projections. So coming extreme good compliance, then you have good market, and the investors will come and pour money, and you grow up. I'm not saying all the startups have been successful enough. I'm not saying that. I'm saying about a case, a typical startup where it has got amazingly good idea, supported by the option to increase or spread it. Promoters extremely careful about uh, compliance perspective, and end of the day, they have a very clear understanding that look, my valuation will be x to 10x in a 10 years time, or 5 years time, or 3 years time, likewise. So what is the Indian story? Indian story, these are all things. In 1981, we know Infosys had come. 86 Tally. I remember in my first organization, my super boss was saying, uh, when we were trying to buy an accounting software, it was very difficult to convince the management, because Tally was only 11,000 rupees. So the question is, how can a software of 11,000 rupees can ever help you? That's a question triggered by the management, because they never believed in this. So Tally, make no mistakes, it is not a product developed by any accountants, or chartered accountants or finance professionals. No, it is the father son duo, statisticians. They were just statisticians. So look at the way they have applied their mind. So the Tally is synonymous to accounts now. So they will not have, do you have Tally? Instead of books of accounts, they'll have, do you have Tally? That's the question being asked. Now, NASCOM, software companies. So another thing is the first venture capital invest in India. First billion, 1 billion funding within 1 year. And the third largest in India, third largest startup ecosystem. And in India, in 2022, we could see 100 unicorns. Unicorns meaning 1 billion, 100 billion, wealth, or investments. Now, how this has happened, friends? This is the startups. This is basically startups. It picked up startups. Basically, a company who was like any other company. They will first have an idea and then nurture it, work on it, compliance, they scale up like that. So, what are the will the startup remain as startup? It is Minicon 1 million. Sunicorn. Now people use the word soon to be unicorn. Then 1 billion unicorn. We call it 1 billion worth. We call them unicorn. Um, uh, uh, Unicorn spelling mistake is there. And deca and hecta, 10 and 100. Now, what is the other things? Around 301 million has raised across dollars were raised across 19 deals in February 13 and 18. Friends, why I'm saying this is what you should understand, that startups are there. India as a country is going to play a vital role in startup space. So unless otherwise you understand the magnanimity or the opportunity of startup in India, there is no point in saying more about other nuances. India added 1,300 active technology startups in current year 2022, taking tally to 27,000. So what is technology startup, friends? Basically, any company who has come up with product related to technology. It can be fintech like Paytms, Google Pay, and all those things. Fintech added second highest unicorns in the world with over 23 added in 2022. Pipeline of unicorn expanded to over 170. You have to understand the numbers. 170 into 100 million, 100 billion. So therefore, uh, it is actually, when we thought in COVID we are going to get a hit. No, yes, GDP would have gone down, but a lot of good ideas have come. So average time taken by startup to scale to 100 million is in revenue has now come down to 5 years from 18 years. So basically, that which you achieved in 8 years, now we are achieving it 5 years. Why? Basically, the principle, according to me, is the power of compounding. You grow at faster pace when you learn things. Okay, compound interest, I am not going to explain to you the difference between a simple interest and a compound interest. So compound interest, the trajectory will be, simple interest, the trajectory will be like this, whereas compound it will be almost similar for some time, then after that it will take a big trajectory. So India has close to 480 startups clocking more than 10 billion in revenue. Venture capital have invested about 143 billion over the 15 years in the startup ecosystem, currently valued at 804 billion. It's not a small number, friends. So basically, India is a place where startups comes, tech startup comes, technology, fintech comes, everything is a buy because you've got quality people, consumption also there, and cost effective people. For example, if you, I'll tell you, one of my friend was working in a firm, and it's a multinational company who does business process outsourcing in India, and the company for which they were doing business was one in US, another in Australia, and the entire team, that is Mr. My friend and 10 other people, 10 or 15 other people, all put together, the cost was only 4 lakhs. Whereas in the case, if that particular company was in Australia or United States, the cost would have been not less than 20-30 lakhs, because that's very costly there. India, you've got quality people at at very cost optimized working atmosphere, availability of quality stuff, that makes the difference. So now we will slowly understand startups and the role of commerce and cost accounting into this. So, what are the ingredients of a startup? You need to have founders who have got good ideas, very good ideas. So, founders will have clear understanding of this is the need of the hour, this is what I have, I'll try to reach that. So they will have a very clear idea, and it has to be validated. How do you do validation, whether it is going to be a sustainable model, how it is being accepted by the people, like that. And of course, leadership team. I'll tell you a story about Infosys. Infosys during the early years, um, typical of Mr. Murthy, he was, for him, ethics, for him, principles are non-negotiables. So, General Electric was one of the main customers of clients of Infosys, and more than 60 percentage of the revenue of Infosys had come from GE. The thing is, GE was very comfortable with Infosys, very comfortable. But typical of an American company, GE, they always have, during the month of November, December, they will have a meeting all the verticals, they will try to optimize their cost. So they came up to discussed with Infosys, saying that, look, we are happy with you, but you should know you need to somehow reduce. You need to somehow reduce this billing fee, because we want we need to increase our bottom line. So you need to reduce it, but we are extremely happy with you. So that the challenge before Mr. Narayan Murthy was, uh, if I lose G, my revenue will come down. But Murthy said, no, if you want to take the business from us, please take it, but we cannot do this. So they did not reduce the pricing. And from that day onwards, uh, Infosys decided to reduce the concentration risk. What do you mean by concentration risk? Concentration risk is like this. If my business model, my revenue model is dependent upon a particular client who gives me maximum number of revenue, maximum sales or revenue, then I'm exposing myself to concentration risk. So Infosys decided, "Arey and we have taken a huge concentration risk. So going forward, we will not have our revenue concentrated on a particular person. We will restrict to 10%. So none of the clients of Infosys will give more than 10% of the total revenue. So even if somebody moves off, company will sustainable business. Now that is the quality of leadership. So leader should have typical leader should be, you take the case of HDFC Bank. When Deepak Parekh had an idea, when Indian economy opened up, Mr. Deepak Parekh, the legendary managing director of HDFC Limited, thought of starting up a company called HDFC Bank, and he picked up good people from the across the globe. Mr. Puri had come from Aditya Puri had come from Citibank, then a lot of them Bank of America, then RBI, all those great people, good leaders come. Mr. Ram had come from, I think, Bank of America. So basically, you pick up good people and form a good team, because unless otherwise you don't have a good leaders, you will not have the best in the each of the vertical. For example, I still remember when I was working with HDFC Bank, every other day we used to have some compliance requirement coming from the audit department or something new in the technology space. So Mr. Ram, he says, now he is no more with HDFC Bank. He says, I will not join HDFC Bank if the bank is not into the centralized account, core banking from the day one. Anywhere banking was, practiced in HDFC Bank from the day one. So that is the visionary. That is the, they understood that there is a gap in that area. We need to do this. Regulators in a country where we have extremely good regulators. I strongly feel that Indian regulators are very strong. We have learned our hard way, but then regulators are very strong, so that the trust of the investors are secured. You have certain enactments like Security Exchange Board of India, SEBI Act, Companies Act, insolvency bankruptcy code, surface C, all those things give a feeling, a message to the a message is sent across the borders or crossing the oceans, that look, this is a place where you have a steady government, good enactment, so that please come and invest. Now in this space, friends, I'll take 1 minute pause, and this is an area where a commerce student or a cost accounting student or a financial student is going to play a big role, because end of the day, RBI will seek details, financial numbers. Ministry of Corporate Affairs will ask you certain financial numbers. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of everything, everybody will ask you certain figures. At that point of time, the costing or finance or commercials, people who are into the commerce stream will definitely have a say, because whatever you do, end of the day, it is being reflected or it is being expressed in monetary terms. For example, you cannot say Infosys is doing good because they have sent uh, you know um, softwares to this company. No, it says the revenue from software development or consulting is this numbers, this money, and the profit is this, the price earning multiple is this, the market capitalization is this, the book value is this. So these are all things which is giving a straight edge for a commerce graduate or a cost accounting professional or a management professional focusing on financial numbers, financial domain as a slight edge over others. Of course, I was mentioning about the funders, investors, and the lenders, banking, financial, institutions. They will be happy only if you have strong compliance, strong team, strong practices, all those things. Then only they'll be, they look into the technical appraisals, commercial appraisals, you know, economic appraisals, all those things they will do. Still, end of the day, idea is good, the cash flow should happen. And of course, need not overemphasize the importance of the customers and vendors. Um if you look at certain companies in our Alapura, or Kollam, we manufacture coir, you know, uh, value added products of coir made of coir from our Alapura and Kollam to companies like Walmart's. The budget of Walmart is almost equal to Indian budget. So that is such a huge scope happening there. So, what are the attraction, pulling out things or scaling up things challenges? Compliance, competition, technology, and nature. That's what I was talking about. Sustainable. If you are not focusing on compliance, you are not going to be sustainable because the cost of, if you want to understand the cost, you have to understand the cost of non-compliance. So cost of, in order to understand the importance of compliance, you should understand the cost of non-compliance. It's a very 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 severe, friends. So these are the areas where cost accountants, commerce graduates have to play a big role. What is that a startup needs? According to me, these are the things: money and lots of it. They need to, I can give you thousands of people who have got amazing ideas, but they don't have funds. If at all somebody is agreeable to put funds, they will not have any books of accounts. Their compliance is weak. They will not have filed returns with the ministry. All those things are areas, friends, for you to take up things, you to take up this profession. Okay, because you understand the importance of Companies Act rules thereunder, so that whenever some issue happens, some expansion of capital, you need to file certain returns, balance sheets, profit and loss account, returns to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, returns to the Income Tax Department, GST, and all those things. And then only money will flow in. When the investors see you as a 100% ethical and compliant man, they will pump in money. So that is something which, according to my startup people, should be focusing, because they feel that they are worried only about their idea, but they are not worried about their, how the financial numbers turn out to be, and consulting how to make it better. So I feel that mm, um, two categories of people who focus only on the ideas, they don't focus about the numbers. They will engage some consultants will seek only money. Ultimately it will disintegrate. But there should be a consultative process. In not just that, they should always, for example, in the case of Infosys, the earlier management had vertical focusing on that. HDFC Bank was that. So all those things are a consultative process, so that how to come out of the best out of the things. And of course, the processes, I'll put it in a very simple way. What is the importance of a process, friends? If you compare two companies or two units, one with a processes in place and one without process in place. And the first company which is having process in place, the predictability is more, meaning they have a process in place, they will achieve it. But when you talk about a company who do not have processes, you don't know the outcome after some time. So therefore, it is according to, please follow that in your life also, in academic life also, in your student life also. You need to have a process. uh, Let come what may, I will have to learn on a continuous basis or read on a continuous basis at least 2 hours a day, reading and writing, making small notes. All those are very critical because you follow a discipline, you follow a regularity, you follow a process. Extremely important. So startups also require some sort of process in place. Otherwise, what will happen is they might grow substantially big because of the quality or because of the greatness of the idea, but beyond which they will disintegrate or they will typically tuck, it will fall down. Typical case of a startup is one small dent can entirely, a small raid or small notice or some small observation by a regulator can take away their entire profit, their entire valuation. And you know what is happening in how fragile is the stock markets, and also how volatile it is. A company like Adani is facing a problem. So what about a small startup? You can understand. Again, right person, staffing, optimum staffing, hiring. Or if you can't staff a guy, why don't you hire some services from an external consultant, something like that. Efficiency, cost cutting, process improvement. See, friends, it talks about efficiency, effectiveness, wherein there is always an opportunity for cost cutting, or I am using the word cost optimization. Look how difficult was in an era where we never used technology. Now, with look at, I'll explain to you what has happened during the COVID last 2 years. This video conferencing, I this particular what we are in, the way we are interacting now, I'm sure across India people will be hearing this. So had it been like I have to travel to Delhi or some other place just to give this speech or this sharing of information, how costly it would have been. Look at the way how will I be wasting the natural resources. Now at the comforts of my home or office, I can discuss with. This is like cost optimization. This is more of a sustainability. So and you improve things. The process also gets improved on a continuous basis. So before doing that, you need to have a pakka due diligence. Again, this is an area where commerce students and cost accounting or financial accounting have a small edge, because end of the day, due diligence is a function where you are just checking whether a proper decision making, proper way it has been done, whether there is any extortionate or an undervalued or a non-compliance issues have popped up. All those things are part of, that is exactly what is the needed in a startup. Because I've always seen in startups some angel investors, those people who puts in money from their own money, come from their own pocket for a great idea. The moment you get the money from an angel investor, you will buy in, you'll uh, waste that money. According to me, you will probably buy a big car or a big house, personal expenditure gone. Who will be the sufferer? Sufferer will be the company, the startup company, because for that only these guys have given money, that good idea. Because these people, angel investors, feel that look, this idea is good, but these guys do not having money, so let me put that money. If that money is put into the company, it will grow, it will scale up. If it is not following any discipline, it will not scale up, it will disintegrate. That is the reason. And of course, there are a lot of compliances, very many compliances. Unless otherwise you don't comply with the rules and regulations for the time being in force, there is no charm in doing business. You might click billions and billions, but if that billions and billions of revenue is done without any compliance, What is the charm in doing such business? So what are the opportunities? These are the opportunities according to me. Operations. When a company is startup, there are areas for operations. How documentations, how typical in a documentation of things, how a particular activity is being done, who is going to do that. So operations in a typical in the case of a fintech company, how the matter is recorded, how the delivery of the services, all those things. Accounting is very clear. Accounting of the financial transactions so that you arrive at the assets and liabilities as on a particular day, state of affairs on a particular day, or profit or loss during a period. And that is accounting. And cost accounting, again, you're zooming deep into it, you're drilling down into the financial numbers and see the product wise or service wise cost of production, cost of sales, cost of goods. So that I've mentioned earlier, when we started this presentation. Reporting, what is reporting? Essentially, you're reporting the operations or the results of the company. How did the company do, how was good, whether it was good, whether there's an opportunity for growth. All those things comes under reporting, and you need to comply in for example, in the case of Companies Act, it says, look, you have to follow this compliance reporting process. You have to follow that. If you don't follow, if you're not doing it, gone, you're going to pay for it. Of course, compliance. Friends, this particular area pie is so big enough for all of you to get employed, either as a staff or as a service provider or a consultant. I'm talking about commerce students. Uh, I'm talking about cost accounting, financial accounting. I've got huge, huge area. I'll explain to you in a different way. You might see artificial intelligence coming, you might see blockchain coming, you might see technological onslaught, everything, but there is always a role for human intellect, because we will always look for upgrading ourselves to make our life better. If that was not the case, the entire computer would have it would have been just a dumb terminal. Now we have everything happening in the smartphone. So basically everything, we need to have people, employable people, not just students. We need to have employable human resources at at optimum cost. I'll tell you, recently I've met the director of engagements of Soho Technologies, one Mr. KP Narayanan. He says, according to the Soho says, we hunt for talents, they go to the place where talent is. So Soho is a company, according to a presentation, there was 12,000 employees stretching to US, Berlin, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Chennai, Bangalore, and Tenkashi. Where is Tenkashi? Tenkashi is in southern part of India, southern districts of India. They say that Tenkashi is a place where you have good talents, and the cost is also extremely low when you compare to somebody sitting in US. So that is the way things are going on. It's growing, and but not gone also. So only thing is, what you need to do, friends, is, Arey yaar, I got a BCom, I've got an MCom, yes, end of it, bindas, I'm not going to do anything. That is the biggest sin you can ever do in your life. Learning, a student is an eternal student. So therefore you cannot stop being a student. You stop learning. Frankly speaking, I get so insecure when I see young lawyers arguing, articulating, and I don't hesitate when I hesitate to appreciate somebody if they do really well. And most of my competitor lawyers get huge applause from me, because I will definitely fall for a good attitude person who's keen on learning, who's keen on working hard for this. So therefore I strongly urge you, friends, that you should not stop with one small qualification. Not less, it's not, I'm not saying that you should have 1,000 qualifications. No, I'm talking about creating value. You have a basic qualification, add on with that which is related to it, and try for something which is traveled by less number of people. Okay, a path which is less traveled by others. Variety of industries, segments, sizes, places, types of founders, funders. So basically, you have people say from 10 crore, 1 crore to 5 crores investment. You can be there. MSME space. India is focusing hugely on MSMEs, is an area where you need to really focus, because those companies will give you opportunities. All you need to do is basically you need to upgrade yourself, not just complacent. You have certain things, you know, certain core skills. See whether it is matching with your common sense, and if it is agreeing to your common sense and idea, go for upgradation. Of course, it is going to be complex to both internal. There will be a lot of complexities because internal issues will be there, external issues will be there. Typically of a startup, for the simple reason that is just a startup, it's just a trigger. It's not all like 100, 500 year, 100 or 75-year-old company. Nah, it's not like the small company, couple of years, 2 3 years, and you will have bright ideas. You may say, oh, this guy is a crazy. You might even say this founder is a crazy guy, but be it as it may, that is the way it is. That is their end of the day, it is their idea. Okay, so when you have more number of, for example, there are it started off as a stakeholder, one, two people or three people started off together. Suddenly you have a board full of people, 20 of them, different culture, different thoughts, different ethos. So therefore expectation will also change. Each one of them will have a different expectation. These are the opportunities for you. So what are the challenges, friends? Everyone is a startup, and you have to be engaged with them. You need to have very clear idea about how you are getting paid, because most of the startups initially they will not have money, but once they get money, then it will go up. And I've seen normal people who have belief in a particular system, suddenly they are paid well. They will be paid equities, ownerships and all those things. And most of the startups I've seen is they don't pay at the right time. Maybe like a bank or a government job where you get end of the day 31st, if at all there is a day called the last day of a month, be 30 or 31st or 28 or 29 day, you will get money. But in startups you cannot expect that. They will have a problem. And of course the increase in the rates, okay, scaling up, scaling down, it'll be a lot of chaos. It's not going to be a straight line. It will be like a, ups and down, peak and troughs will be there. So it's a challenge, it's an absolute challenge. Again, people will have emotions, expectations. I've seen a lot of, I'm sure you'll endorse my view. um, During the COVID period, there are a lot of hotels in Cochin, especially, a lot of them popping up, and suddenly they're falling down also. So all those things are, or general feature of a startup. It's the challenges of a startup. So how do you do that? You have to help them, to engage them. Who can help? Especially a commerce guy who can focus on operations, accounting, compliance. So three areas, according to me: a cost accounting guy, or a commerce graduate, or a finance a become guy, or a chartered accountant, or a cost accountant can probably help a startup is, or help the startup is by way of operations, in areas of operations, accountings, and of course compliance with the laws and regulations. And for certain people say, "Arey, I have trust in your idea. I'll work for the sake of profession, pro bono," and certain things they do it for the sake of um, ideas. Now, I told you about Ola, I showed you about Oyo, I showed you about Zomato. Yesterday, I was reading somewhere that Zomato is making a loss of 340 crores. Oh my God, how do they? Again, there is a valuation issue there. All those things, even Amazons or Flipkarts are not making cash profits. So it's like that, friends. Then invoicing and equity is a challenge. Quicks are there. and what is the value of the company. You need to, with every increase of numbers, increase of the clients, increase of the cash flow, increase of the assets, the valuation will change. If you put it in a graph, what will be the future value? All those things are challenges, because end of the day, startup do not have a legacy to say. It is an idea. So that is what I want to convey. These are the small thing which I want to talk to you about a startup, especially from the perspective of commerce or a cost accounting guy. And wrapping it up, it is like it is an area for a commerce person or a cost accounting person, because end of the day, when you start a business, when you do it for the first time, you do it in the most appropriate way. You have systems in place, you have robust systems in place, so that you take a very very informed decision, rather than a thumb rule or a emotional decisions, and you utilize your resources. That's very important, because most of the people startups, they they suddenly increase their capacity without being utilizing it. So all those things are certain challenges. Yeah, so that is what this is. So I'm pretty confident about the role of a cost accountant or a financial accountant or a commerce graduate or a postgraduate or a business management person in startup. Yeah, I've done with this. I'm ready to take any questions on this.
Thank you, Shankarji. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to you, as always. And it was, in fact, we enjoyed your presentation so much that we have a clear roadmap as to how to go about if we ever do a graduation or a post-graduation in areas related to commerce. Of course, we have a number of questions and comments as well. But before that, I would like to welcome the Director of National Council for National Center for Innovation in Distance Education, Dr.
Thank you.
Opi Sharma, who has so graciously joined us in this afternoon session. Welcome, sir. Welcome to this afternoon session.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I was just looking at the dashboard. Sir was there for most of the session, so he must have heard what all Shankarji was so eloquently expressing on this occasion. Sir is on leave, and in spite of that, he has joined us for this session. So welcome, sir. And before we take the questions, we would like to listen to you, sir, Sharma sir.
Thank you very much, Rajesh ji. And really, it was very nice to listen to Panikkar ji. And from our students' point of view, I think this was a very, very good presentation. Right from basics of startup, innovations, and what are the different challenges, what kind of opportunities are there, what is the role, and these all things you have covered very nicely. So I think it will be very useful talk to our students, because I hope Dr. Rajesh might have told you that IGNO is very much now actively supporting, promoting innovation and startup among our students. And we at the National Center for Innovation and Distance Education at headquarters, we are organizing different kind of programs from time to time, and we are inviting the persons like you who have expertise in different field, because we know the persons who are having different expertise, they present from their point of view, their perspective is presented, and that way different kind of perspectives students also get, like for example, for this startup and innovation, a person who is not having the background like you, they give different kind of stories, different kind of ideas, so that way our students are getting a mixed kind of inputs from all points of view. Regional centers are also very actively organizing this kind of program, and our regional center Vatakara is very active, and I have seen last time also the innovation club at Vatakara is very active, and then a result of these all programs is also visible. I would like to share with you, many of our students, though they are away from us, they are working at their own stations, at workplace, homes, but still they are very very much motivated. They are taking initiatives at their own, but this kind of program, they are helping them in a going in a certain direction. they are basically guiding them the way they are doing now with this kind of talks, presentations. They are getting proper directions. Yes, what are different kind of challenges? What I can do in terms of finances, in terms of other things. So these all talks are giving them that proper directions, also a kind of organized training, that I can say. And result of that is visible, because I have seen during 3 4 years a number of students have set up their startups. They have registered their companies, and now they are looking for some funding also, because we have seen during these talks they are always told that you start something at your own. Don't expect anything in the beginning in terms of finances, and that is true also, because no company, no investor is going to fund right in the beginning. So if they are starting something at their own and then showing the result, and then investors also can be influenced, and then they can support. So your talk particularly that suggesting to add some skills, keep on adding some additional qualification along with the main qualification, that is very much required in the areas where they want to work. And one thing, because we always encourage that when you are going for startup, it should be innovative, and in that context you're saying like a less traveled path. Following the less traveled path, that is very much required, because if you are following the same traditional path, then I think the competition will be larger, and then you'll have to make more efforts. Challenges will be there. That's why it's good to think of less traveled path, but more demanding right in the beginning. So these all inputs that you have given, I am sure it will be very useful. And very good aspect of your talk that I could see is the sharing of lot of example, lot of case studies, because normally we see that talks are there, but if this kind of examples and case studies are missing, then they don't make it so impressive. But now with these examples, students can correlate. Yes, where am I? What kind of thing I can do as compared to the other things? So thank you very much for sparing time and addressing our students. And because the talk is very useful, and normally we keep these all talks live on our YouTube channel also, so that students can view it, watch it later. And that way, I'm thankful to Rajesh ji also and his team for organizing this program. And good thing is that it has become a regular feature of Innovation Club at RC Vatakara. So thank you very much to all of you. And Rajesh ji, thank you for providing me also opportunity to join your program. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
In fact, sir, one information I would like to give you. Shankarji is very much part of our innovation club at Vadagara, and not only
Oh,
that, he
wonderful.
has also assured us all help in organizing innovation clinics and all that. So mentoring support also he has offered us. So we are in the path of planning that at the regional level. So the developments in this regard, we will let you know soon, sir. So
That's
Shankarji has
nice
also.
that he is part of your innovation club, but I would like to suggest you one more thing. Whenever you are organizing this program, you can inform other regional centers also if they want, because
Yeah,
this
we have informed them
today we
also.
have the advantage of this technology, because when we are inviting Panikkar ji for any kind of program at your regional center, if other regional centers are also getting advantage of that, then I think it is possible in the present context. So that will be good if you do that. And I will also
That
try
we have
to
already done, sir.
involve
Yes,
him
that we
in
have
our
already done.
innovation club at headquarter activities also.
That we have already done. This time we had we have sent the information across to all the regional centers and
Yes.
requested them to forward it to the learners, and also requested them to actively participate in this. So we have already done that. So definitely, as and when we organize different activities, we'll definitely let other regional centers also know about that, so that
Thank
all
you.
of them benefit from this process. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving us such encouragement, so that we can also take up such activities in future as well. Yeah,
Rajesh,
Shankarji.
Yeah, one small, since sir is here, I thought I'll just make a small, I'll take only 30 seconds, sir.
Sure, sure.
Um, in any startup or any good business, there is a good link between academia and industry. If you take Stanford or Valley, all those things were startups, and all those brains from Cambridge or Oxford or whatever they have Stanfords. These people, there is a there is a link between academia and industry. For example, there is an institute called Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA. There, in the top level, in the sense, the final level of the course, they are supposed to do a project. What topic given to them is the most relevant thing which is applicable there. For example, my friends, couple of friends who have done SIMA, I've inquired. So they said, for one of my friend, the theme was the topic given is infrastructure. The other one, pharmaceutical. And after going through this research and the presentation, he says, you can ask me any questions on this. And this particular topic, the thesis, the report was actually given to the industry board in UK so that they can utilize this. So I don't know whether it's possible in our IGNOU, but then if at all there is any link between IGNOU and the industry body, maybe government agents, Invest India, there are a lot of things are there, organizations where you can give so that this can be properly utilized. Whatever efforts taken by the students at the higher levels can be utilized by the industry. So one suggestion
No,
which I
that's right. Your suggestion is very important also. And the national education policy also recommends for this kind of industry academia linkages. And when we talk about the entrepreneurship or startup, then I think without industry linkages, it is not possible. It is someone can do something at their own, but unless we are linking them with the right kind of industry, it may not be as successful as we can
absolutely
visualize.
very true.
So in general, I think in case of IGNOU may not be possible, but particularly when we talk about the potential entrepreneurs or startups, then certainly we are trying our level best, because what is happening at IGNOU, there is a very large number of students, that's at around 35 lakh students are live at the moment, and a similar number of students are alumni. Out of those, we cannot link all those students with the industry, but what we are doing, we are identifying the interested students, motivated students who are interested in doing something at their own. And for that purpose, we organize different kind of competitions, ideathon, hackathon, innovation competition, business plan competitions. And there is a IGNOU Udyami portal also we have started. That is a link is given on our IGNOU website, where we have made it 24/7 open to all the students, and that invites any student of IGNOU who has any kind of innovative idea to do something, or even not having idea but is motivated to do something. So what is happening, they are registering on that innovation IGNOU Udyami portal, and that is helping us in identifying the potential innovators. So that way we are getting a filtered out students who are self motivated or doing something at their own. uh, then after that we start this kind of program for them. Like first what we do, we organize some specialized focused training program for them, covering different aspects of entrepreneurship and startup, because one may be interested in doing something but may not be aware of the basic concepts, basic terminology, basic process of doing a startup. Because idea is one thing, but idea to startup is a complete journey. In that journey, what are the different stages, and at particular stage what kind of initiative, what kind of the steps the one should take. So we provide them this focus training. And then we found that some of them, they are really interested in taking up their idea to start up. And for them we invite experts like you who are having specialized expertise, because sometimes we need expert guidance for IPR and patent related issues, because students are very afraid of sharing their ideas, and many times it is very we can say the worrying topic also, because when they are sharing and then before they do something, someone else will take initiative. So that's why we do that thing. And we invite some experts who can find who can guide them about the funding opportunities, maybe the government funding, maybe the private funding, some investors funding. So these all funding opportunities, so that kind of initiatives we are taking. And in that context we are trying to link them with the industry also, because we know, like regional center is having innovation council at Vatakara. We are having institutions innovation council at the headquarters. There we have involved some industry expert, IPR experts, experts from the banks and funding agencies, and they basically guide them. And gradually, what is happening? Many other people are coming forward because they are finding potential in IGNO students, and because they are also looking for some students whom they can support, whom they can guide. But here in IGNO, they are finding automatically some self-motivated students, and they are coming forward. But still I think a lot more need to be done in this direction, because this is just beginning in case of IGNO. In view of that large number of students which we are having, this is a very small number right now we are catering to. But with the help of regional centers, I'm sure we will be able to reach out to more and more number of students. And problem is to identify. First we are able to identify, and then we can take it further. So this kind of program certainly will help them. And then I agree fully that industry linkage is very important, because they are, if they are getting some internship there, then they will get first hand training also, because that first hand training in some industry with some startup, and then they start their own, I think that will be more successful, and the chances of greater success will be there. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Those comments are really insightful, and I'm sure we will work together, all of us together, to take this initiative further. And Shankar Panikkar sir has always been very forthcoming in extending his support to whatever activities we have planned. And in future also, I'm sure he will extend his valuable support to us. So I think now we can take some questions which have come. Shankar sir? I'll display them on the screen and you can just reply to
Yeah.
them. What are the specific additional qualifications that a student can have?
Okay.
Adira has asked this question.
Adira, it's a very good question which you have, because you are asking this question because you're very young, you are in a confused state of situation where what should be done. Dear friend Adira, it's very simple. Don't confuse. If you have chosen commerce as something, or since you are a commerce student, according to me, at this point of time, there are two areas which you should focus. One is data analytics, and if possible look into artificial intelligence, because there are a lot of areas which is going into those lines. And if you my view is, always go for a professional qualification, and go for some additional skilling. So once you have this commerce, try to do some data analytics course, because even in judiciary they are going to say that in judiciary is going to use artificial intelligence. So just to have a heck of things, I strongly urge you to look into the data analytics, and after that artificial intelligence, because commerce should not be a commerce student or a commerce graduate should not be a person bracketed as he's a bookwala person, a typical bookwala. Nahi. We should be more than that. We should be working along with the decision makers. We should help them to take decisions. So we should have, since we have some financial, we can appreciate financial numbers. we should also appreciate some technology aspects also. So therefore, you may try data analytics. There are a lot of value added small courses here. Just have a hand on it. You will be highly, hugely employable after that. I'm damn sure about that.
Thank you. The next question, I think he is asking about the, and Mr. Anwar is asking about the opportunities
For us,
for us.
please. Anwar, the fact of the matter is, it is not about opportunities. If you ask me, the issue right now is not unemployment. Right now, we are not facing unemployment. It's a wrong statement. The issue is employability. Whether you have the stuff to be employable, whether a prospective person looks at you as a guy, "Arey yaar, I'll take Anwar now because he has got this capability." So don't mistake just having a qualification in commerce, or be it in some other way, you are going to be getting job. No, employability is a function of academic knowledge, good communication skill, good technological skill, and topping it up with good attitude, humble attitude. So therefore, sir, will it happen overnight? No, it will not happen overnight. So what am I supposed to do? Keep your eyes and ears open always, and be always be having some. That's what I mentioned. Update your skill, upskill yourself. That's what I was trying to say. So when I was a student, I mean a graduate, I mean a student chasing graduation like you, for us, knowing computer was the biggest, hope or aim. People used to say, if you have a computer qualification or some course in computer, you are going to get a job. I'm talking about 25, 30 years back. Now it's not like that. Now you're talking about some specialization in technology, data analytics, blockchain technology, or SAPs, something, and something addition, something value added course you need to have. So I'm repeating it. In my time, it was computer. Knowing computer it was enough. Now, a value added thing in computer like data analytics or business analytics. So, opportunities are galore in abundance. All you need to do is stay hungry for knowledge. Don't go to sleep unless otherwise you read for half an hour to 45 minutes. Because only through reading books, not even the technology gadgets, only through reading books, you will fall in love with language. Only if you use appropriate language in the interview hall, you can take the interviewers into your charm. Your fate will be decided in 4 to 5 minutes the moment you enter into a interview hall. At that point of time, if you are not able to communicate well, gone. You will be a topper in commerce. You will be a topper in that. I'm not talking about Anwar as a person. I'm talking about the entire students who are hearing this. It is not about your qualification. It is how employable you are. So it's a function of your communication, function of your good attitude and staying skill. People used to make fun of me. Sir, why? How many qualifications you have? What is the need of this? Um, Array, I'm doing these things to compete with you. You guys have got amazing skills. You will need only less than 2 minutes to understand a new things. At this age, I need at least 4 or 5 minutes, or even 10 minutes to understand a new things, because that is the way with this. So I'm competing with you people. That is why I'm staying updated. I feel so insecure if I don't read a judgment a day. I feel so updated. I mean, so insecure. And my wife used to say, "Arey, boy, yes, he's crazy now." So it is like that, Anwar. Please don't worry on such things. So opportunities are there. Just keep your, as I said, I'll quote MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni, all of us know who he is. uh, Dhoni was asked, what should be, he was talking about the lack of form of Virat Kohli and Robin and Rahul, Rohit Sharma and all. He said, see, these are all part of and Chennai Super Kings losing a match. So he said it is part of the game, but what is more important is the processes. What is most important is the processes. If you follow that process, it will come back. The form will come back. For example, in one of the South African trip, a series, Sachin Tendulkar played full off drive, straight bat. For about 20 overs, he played straight bat. Because the moment he plays cross bat, the ball gets nicked and he gets out. So for which you need to follow the process. And so process is very simple. Apart from studying this academic subjects, you need to have general understanding. You need to know what is chat GPT now. You need to know what is Elon Musk new idea. So that is the thing which we are looking at in the industry now. Not that it is like a just like a gas you need to do. You should never bluff. According to me, you should never bluff, but you need to have a some sort of reading, and it will happen, friend. I mean, basically we need to have articulation in your communication. That is essential now.
Yeah.
Did I
Thank you.
confuse you, or I don't know?
No, no, it was very instinctive. So
Yeah.
definitely there is no confusion as such. Harmony, he or she is saying, please, sir, please suggest a few areas of commerce-related startups. Maybe
Yeah,
he or she wants to start go into the process of having a startup on his or her name.
there are a lot. In fact, see, let me talk to you. That two things which are coming to my mind is very, very, instantaneous. One is, there are a lot of processes in an accounting department, or there are a lot of processing in an operations department. For example, I was talking to today. I was valuing an examination of an university in three papers I take, and those particular thing I was a valuer, examiner. I mean, valuing papers. So I was just asking the chief person there, what are you going to do with these papers? These answer sheets, what are you going to do? So he says there are 16 courses and 35,000 students are studying in these particular allied courses. So I was just asking, what are you, because typical of a finance guy, I was asking, so what are you going to do with, where will you stock or where will you archive all these things? So he says, if there is no dispute among the marks, after 1 year it will be 1 year it will be scrapped, meaning shredded and given away. So if there is any some malpractice or some cases, it will be archived for about 5 years. Now the question is, hard copy hard copy of the paper is archived for 5 years. In the case of judiciary, tons and tons of paper are there. I mean, in all those pleadings and other things. Friends, this is an area where you can even go and say, look, I can help you in digitally archiving it. The moment I said this, so why don't you make it as a digitalization? For example, Reliance Communication, Reliance Geo and all, they enter into agreements with lease agreements with these towers. It was again in hard copy. At that point of time, that job I had taken up, where I archived all those documents, and within 30 seconds they can archive, take a retrieve from the archive. Accounting is an area, operations is an area. All you need to do, harmony, all you need to do is understand the need of the issue. Okay, so commerce, see, startup is like, you understand the gap there. What is that? What is the effective? What is the end thing, and what is that is preventing them? That is an area which you have to do. For me, When I was into a finance guy after passing my cost accountancy, biggest thing for me was to archive these documents and other things, so that you can actually do that. And is you can actually stay on your own, be your own master. Lot of things. GSTs are there. Oh, huge opportunity for commerce students. GST compliances, everything can be done. And I feel that if you have some sort of reasonable knowledge in GST law or even income tax law, lot of areas. And if time permits, I can say enough and more, because if you look, we were mentioning about startups now. What is the biggest challenge for a startup? They don't have any, typical way of going. They only know bookish things. Somebody has had enough idea like this. Now his valuation is 1,000 crores or 500 crores. That is what he is. He'll not think about all these, compliance and all. For example, why don't you become a consultant to give project reports or coordination with the team for compliances? All those things are possible. It's a huge area. Commerce related, brief background, operations, compliance, and accounting. Huge opportunities. All you need to do is stay relevant. The only thing is you have to stay relevant. Otherwise, you will always hear no from them. For example, as per the Companies Act, you need to maintain fixed assets register. And the chartered accountant, the statutory auditor, is supposed to report that he has seen the fixed asset register. 99 out of the 100 companies will not have this fixed asset register. That is an area where for a commerce guy can help and interfere and chip in. And there are a lot of professionals, chartered accountants, cost accountants, those who don't have good people to assist. So these are our areas you can be part of the team and take up such assignments. Huge. I'm just, these are the things which is came as a flash to me. If we allow, if you think for a, if you stay silent and calm and think about 10 minutes, you will have 10 number of opportunities bumping up. So nothing to worry actually. Huge opportunity. It's a huge area.
That is, in fact, very well said, because commerce is an area without any
Yeah,
limit, at least in
absolutely.
the present scenario. Then we
Absolutely.
have Neetu Vineet. She's asking if I have an idea. How do I know? I think it is no. Whether it is commercially viable.
Ah,
If I
see, that is
have an idea, how do I know whether it is commercially viable? I think that's
correct. Very good thought process. This is the way one should do. One should start a idea. Once you have an idea, you need to do some appraisals, some technical appraisals, commercial appraisal, financial appraisals, for which we have something called project report. I'm not talking about you should prepare a project report, a book, or something like that. No, you need to research on that subject and find out where you are benchmarking. Okay, that idea, who is the player. For example, in my case, I have a very unique career. I started off as a finance guy, then into corporate finance, then into bank for about 10 years, then into cost accounting profession. Now I'm practicing as a lawyer and insolvency professional. So whatever little bit I was I was having an experience, I'm utilizing it now. But it never planned like that, it came in just like that. I'm sure Rajesh ji will endorse that he would not have thought of I will start as a lawyer, because I was pretty happy with my cost accounting profession. So fate and destiny is a different thing. The question is, commercially viable is indirectly or directly linked to the need. For example, I feel that there is a huge gap for, or a requirement for, lawyers with finance background, or a finance professional with law background. Most of the cases which I handle are referred by chartered accountants or cost accountants who are not fully comfortable with law. Another great source of my income is from lawyers who gives me work just because I'm a finance professional, because they are not updated about the accounting standards, cost accounting standards, income tax, GST, and all those things. They only know about the legal side, but they don't know, they cannot appreciate the accounting part. So how it is commercial viable is the, situations where you want to place yourself. You have to first understand, you have to really refine, you think loud, think in depth about your idea, and you yourself will understand, look, this is going to be a challenge because of this. You have to have interaction with your friends who is into the same line, or with some mentors. Some mentors will help you, a guide will help you. Don't do not fret to seek a guidance, because they carry the experience, that which, assuming a person having 40 years of experience or 30 years of experience, if you spent with them say for about half an hour, 1 hour, you are saved of traveling that, that 30 years. That which you take too much of time to understand, they can give you in essence. So my view is very clear, Neetu. If you have an idea, nurture it, discuss it, and understand where it is going to be relevant, where what need is going to be satisfied because of your idea, who is going to be your consumer, who is going to take your services, what is that is which you, what is that is going to be saved, or because of your idea, that has to be taken care of. That is, you have to address yourself. You have to address yourself. For example, my uncle, he was amazing. He's no more. He passed away in very young age. He had a fertilizer. He is a chemical engineer. With some formulation, he came out with a fertilizer. And had it been, had it been in the right funding happened, or right quantity, that would have been a straight threat to FACT. So that was the information which I gathered. So because one of my friend's father was the cost accountant who helped my uncle to cost the price the things. So I was so excited to hear from a third person about the brilliance of the idea of my uncle. But when I mentioned this to my father, when I mentioned this to my father, that look, Mr. So and so has said that my uncle had a wonderful idea. If that had come, it would have been a straight threat to FACT, that particular fertilizer. So my father said, in fact, he had discussed this with FACT's CMD those days. This particular thing, based on the request of my uncle, my father had this, because my father was a close friend of the CMD those days. So according to the CMD, it was only for a laboratory value. That particular fertilizer could not be manufactured in huge quantity with this technology. So the perception was, you have a good idea that it is going to kill, a big company is going to stay relevant, it is going to be a big threat to a top player. All those things are one side there. But there is another thing, it is called scaling. If you have seen my presentation, I have used the word traction and scaling. You pull out an idea and you expand that scaling. That is very relevant. So your idea, you should understand who is going to use it. What is my catchment? Is it a huge size of 130 crores, or is a huge size of 5,000 people? That is very important. That is very important. So what I'm trying to say is, your idea should be looked at objectively, not subjectively. Objectively, whether it will reach the intent of that. That is the way we need to think. That is what I have in my mind. I don't know whether I have confused you, Neetu. Commercially viable, whether it's
In fact, this is very well explained, and this is a kind of question that comes to many of our minds often.
correct.
And many students during their commerce sessions, sessions and all that, ask similar kinds of questions. And it is very nice that you have put it in the right perspective, because now people can come back and refer back to your video as and when
Correct.
they like. Then there is another question from Mr. Anwar. How can I share my idea to a company or a person?
A very good question. See, good companies have got good companies. They actually invite good ideas, especially technology companies. They come up with so. How can Anwar? The answer is if you have an idea, you have to identify which industry it falls into. You have to identify as to which industry it falls into. Then you have to understand and for example, one of my friend, he's a very close associate of Microsoft, and that company, MI, that mobile manufacturing company. Whenever a new, because it seems he will be given a task to find out the bugs, and if at all there is any issue, this person will be asked how to tackle that. So there are a lot of companies who really crave for new ideas. For example, let me tell you, friends, um, I have a friend who is into advertising and other things. Amazingly talented guy, amazingly, but only thing is he's having such an artistic mind that he don't want to compromise. Now what has happened is a company understood his talent, understood that he has got that content. They hired him for a Tamil Nadu Tourism Development Corporation. Like KTDC of us, there is something called Tamil Nadu Tourism Development Corporation, TTDC. TTDC's TTDC's tourism's video is prepared by a Mallu, a friend of mine, hired by an advertising agency. So the answer to a specific is, if you have a good content, go to the company, go to the industry which you are into. For example, if your idea is say some photography or some films or some accounting, and please go to a BPO if that be the case. Business process outsourcing, they will give an idea. Don't think that, oh, not that I'm shy, my idea is this thing, if they may not accept it, be it as it may. We call it PMK, पूछने में क्या. What is the harm in asking question? Just trigger this idea. Okay, so unless otherwise, so answer to your question is very simple. You have an idea, you understand which industry it falls into, whether it is a manufacturing, banking, tourism, and all those things, and pick up the companies. And believe me, these companies are looking for new ideas, especially fast moving consumer goods. They look forward for ideas, advertisements and all, huge ideas.
Great. I think we have a couple of more questions. If you have time, we can take it.
Yeah.
Uh,
We-
uh, it is Padma is requesting you to share your email ID, or can I contact you on LinkedIn?
Oh yes, I have got LinkedIn account, and also my email ID is SANKAR PANICKER without any space. Shankar Panicker. SANKAR PANICKER It's there in LinkedIn also. You may please type Shankar Panicker. It will be like
Great.
Advocate and Insolvency Professional.
Wonderful, wonderful. Then Harmony is back with another question. Sir, please advise on some innovative areas. I think that you have already explained in part, I suppose. Okay,
How can
so
I how can I know, how can I suggest certain things? It should come from within. It should come from
exactly.
within. And believe me, I'll tell you one more thing, Harmony, for your information. None of the successful people became successful, not just financial, any other way successful, just thinking of their own. No, society is a biggest stakeholder. If your idea is not serving the society, then it will not grow. Assuming Shankar Panikkar having these experience, do not share information with Igno or Rajesh when he got. What is the fun of having this information? This is society. We owe a lot thing to the society. For example, forget about a small murkangada or a small tea shop. Everybody in a small village, every morning he gets up in the morning, that tea shop owner will open the shop at 5 o'clock, make the tea. There will be stock customers who comes there, take the tea in the morning and read some newspaper. He has got a society responsibility to the society, not just 10 rupees or 5 rupees getting for that tea. He is a person recognized by the society that look, that Chetan's kada is there. Good tea you get, good paripoda you get. And because of that, he makes money and also creates value to the society. So your advice, my view is your areas of advice is not just for you to make money. For the society, you have a bigger role to play. If the society is with you, your life is made. If a society is not with you, you are not. Just imagine what is the thought process going into the mind of Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani or Mukesh Ambani. Their mobile phones connectivity, they know that society will take this up. That is why they invested. Simple as that. So angane chindikanam, you need to work on those lines, and
Exactly.
people will come and support you. I'm sure about that.
Very true.
And believe me, ethics, morality, compliance are non-negotiable. You should not dilute on it. You will get money, but that doesn't mean that you will not be non-compliant. You have to be compliant. You should held your head high. When I've paid income tax, I've paid all those things. That will give you confidence.
Exactly. That's very well said. There is another question from Adv T. Sir, what are the strategies for doing a startup?
That's what I mentioned. That good idea, good people for you, good idea, good leadership team, compliance. You need to have good people on board, ideas, verticals. I'll be expert in something else, you will be expert in something else. So these things are the strategy is to cohesively move and look at the value that is going to create to the end consumer. That is the strategy, and for which financial numbers you need to have a consultant. If you are a commerce person, you can understand far better than a technical person. So you can forget about the exam things. You can put it in the most simple way and give it to somebody who will put it in a formal way. So strategy for doing a startup is have a good idea, good people, and strong compliance. That is my answer.
I think we have had quite a lot of questions, and many people are thanking you also for your responses, quite a lot of them. And that itself shows that people have been there right throughout the session. And that shows also shows us the kind of quality that the session has had, and how people are benefiting from the session. So I'm sure if we wait for longer, there will be another 50 or 60 questions coming our way. But since you also are a very busy person with so many responsibilities on your hand, I think it is time now to close the session. So I sincerely thank Shankar Panikkar ji for sparing nearly 2 hours of his very busy schedule with us. It is not every day that we get a person of the eminence of Shankar ji to address us. And the way he has expressed his views, the kind of practical suggestions and solutions he has given, those were amazing. In fact, we at the academic end of things do not really have this kind of an insight to provide our students with. But that is the difference between a professional and a person who is in the academic field. We are constrained by our thoughts, which are mainly bookish, and we have a limitation of the kind of horizons that we have. But Shankarji and persons like him have the advantage of not only being associated with the profession at the practical level, but also have the advantage of having a multidisciplinary approach, being a lawyer, being an insolvency expert, whatnot. In fact, if you go through the profile of Shankarji, you will understand that the number of areas he has laid his hands on is amazing. So, Shankarji, thank you so much for giving us such an elaborate explanation. I am sure all our students have benefited a great deal from this session. And I also thank OP Sharmaji, Director NCID, for joining us in this session. And we will definitely meet soon with other activities of our Innovation Club, of which Shankarji is an integral part of. I also thank my colleague, Dr. Pramila O, who had been in the initial parts of this telecast. So I wish all our students the very best. I wish everyone a very happy Holi. And I once again thank Shankarji for giving us such an elaborate session. Thank you, one and all.
I thank God for giving me this opportunity, and Rajesh. Thank you so much. Thank you. Shall I log out? Shall I log out? Shall I just leave the studio now?